another mass shooting in the United States in Pittsburgh. I'm just weighing in on how mental illness plays a part in these shootings. Now, first, I think we all need to acknowledge how absolutely horrible and terrifying these things are when they happen. And, our thoughts and prayers and well wishes need to be with everyone who's affected by them, because it really actually is just, it's hard to fathom anything much worse. So when it comes to mental health or mental illness, I think, for us to pretend that the people that do these things are not mentally ill is somewhat insane. So first off, acknowledging that these people are really sick and are psychopathic and, are not anywhere close to a normal state of mind. So, to be careful about stigmatizing mental illness, it is important to note that people with mental illness are more often victims of abuse than they are perpetrators. But anyhow, this isn't about that. This is about how do we understand how completely psychopathic and insane these people are when they do these kind of things, and then how do we understand that better, and how do we cope with, potentially the psychological impacts on ourselves. Some modes of thinking that are common in these situations are catastrophizing or obsessing, and that can cause us a lot of stress and anxiety, and especially if we are parents or we have kids, or depending on how we talk about these things, it does impact those around us, and particularly young people and children. So we can start to notice when we are going overboard with our attachment or our obsessing over these events, because they are horrible. For those of us that are disconnected from it, it's much easier, obviously. And so what are the things we can notice about ourselves, and when we're getting caught in negative thinking patterns or really fearful, possibly unrealistic ideas of what this means in our life? And those are some things that can be helpful to think about. And I'll speak a tiny bit about the bigger impact on a global scale or on a societal scale about how horrifying this trend is, or these things, and why people get to a point where they're so angry and filled with hatred that they do things like this, because it's quite hard to fathom. I think, and this isn't a comparison, these people need to be, locked up, and they need to face the full force of the law and the consequences that come with that 100%. But for us as a society to move towards a greater understanding of how we personally experience our emotions, how we personally experience anger and resentment, and the way we discriminate and act with prejudice and all those other kind of things, because we all do it. And if you don't think you do, then maybe I suggest some more self-reflection. So, the more we can understand the way our own minds think and work, the better we'll be able to help others. And I think we can greatly reduce the overall impact of conflict and, the negative outcomes that happen when people are so fucked up that they don't know what to do, and they go off and do completely insane things like that. Anyhow, take care of yourself. Our responsibility always lies with taking care of ourselves first. And, I suggest not using these situations to create more hate, more divisiveness, more finger pointing, because that's not what we need right now. As a society, as a global community, we need to be more together, and we need to stand together when things like this happen. and that's the way forward. This is absolutely horrible, and it's just, it keeps happening, and that's not a surprise. So take a deep breath. We gotta create more love and more connectedness in this world, so that when these things happen, we're more together and we can cope better, and also hopefully somehow collectively reduce the instances of these things happening. So, again, thoughts and feelings and prayers to everyone involved and affected by this stuff. It's absolutely horrifying, and that's about it. Take care.